Hello everybody, welcome back, or welcome to Tiger Tales, a place where you'll find stories and fan fictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tai Tiger. Now, all my fan fictions are exactly that, fiction written by the fans. I don't mean to breach on copyright or infringe on the original material. Welcome back to the TMDFU. That stands for the Tiger Tales Marvel and DC Fanfiction Universe. This is another installment. The first installment is Mutants for Hire. Go check out Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of that. Now, let's dive into a new story in the TMDFU. Today, we are with Spider-Man. A new Spider-Man. My own Spider-Man. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's dive in with The New Extraordinary Spider-Man, Chapter 1. The new, definitely not a fake, Spider-Man. Spider-Man swung through the city, his webs firing out of his shooters. He swung over the streets full of walking civilians and the busy traffic. The streets were lit with the lights coming from the buildings and the sides of the streets and the street lamps. Spider-Man then landed on the roof to catch his breath. He brushed off the snow off the ventilation box and sat on it. He removed his mask, the cold air stinging his face. Then Logan Hart pulled out his phone. He checked his messages to find they had several missed calls off his mother. "Damn it," Logan muttered. He shoved his phone back into his pocket, placed his mask over his face, and then he jumped off the roof and fell all the way down. Seconds before he hit the pavement, Spider-Man shot his web, the web hitting a lamppost, and Spider-Man swung over several people. "Hey look, it's Spider-Man," someone called out. "He's obviously a fake," another civilian shouted. Spider-Man shook his head at the comment. He knew this was going to happen when he donned the costume a month beforehand. 2 months ago, Logan walked into his house. "Mother, I have arrived," he called out in a posh tone mockingly. The silent response proved to Logan that his mother was still at work. His mother was Felicity Hart, a news presenter for the New York news station. She started off a simple news reporter, but after a terrible day, though the superheroes lost, Felicity wrote a piece that put her on the stand of being the news reporter, and 1 year later she was the voice everyone heard first thing in the morning and again in the evening. But with a job revolving around the city and the news stories that came with it, came less time at home. Logan only saw his mother for a couple minutes a day, sometimes not even that. Logan would often leave voice messages to his mother, and she would respond whenever she had the time. Not many news reporters wanted to report on crimes, especially those revolving around major drug deals, murders, kidnappings, and gang wars, but Felicity wanted to make sure that the people of New York were aware of the dangers and negativity that lay waste to the city. Logan walked into the kitchen and noticed a parcel on the table. He checked and saw it was addressed to him. He was confused but opened it anyway, and pulled out a glass cylinder tube. Logan then analysed it and noticed that one end was open. He then checked the box to see if anything else was in it, but it was empty. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot up his arm. Logan looked down, and on his wrist was a small black and purple spider, which had sunk its teeth into Logan. Logan slapped the spider and it dropped to the floor dead. Logan looked at the bite mark, and it was inflamed and became dark blue in colour. "Did someone send me a spider?" Logan asked himself. Logan turned around and suddenly felt very strange. His head started spinning and his vision blurred. He dropped to the tube and it shattered against the wooden floor. His muscles became weak, his legs could no longer hold him up, and he dropped to the floor and everything went black. Logan awoke. He was submerged in green liquid and a breathing mask was placed on his face. He could see several people unknown to him wearing white coats, walking and talking. A man in a nice suit stood there looking at Logan through the glass container. "Hello, Logan. My name is Mr. Pocket, and I am here to help," the suited man said. Logan tried to wriggle and fight, but the thick green liquid was tough to move in, and Logan was unable to form any words. "Please, Logan, calm yourself. I shall explain. You were bitten by a genetically engineered spider, which held the DNA of Peter Parker, or shall I say, the one and only Spider-Man. You were the only person who seemed to survive the bite, and we are now running some tests," Mr. Pocket explained. Logan took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. Several hours flew by. Logan was pulled out of the experiment chamber eventually, washed and dried and given a new set of clean clothes. He then found himself in a limousine with Mr. Pocket. So, does that make me the new Spider-Man? Logan asked. Haha, don't be stupid, my boy. You're far from it. But you are the closest thing we have to a Spider-Man, yes, Mr. Pocket replied. Okay, what if I don't want to be the next Spider-Man? Logan asked bluntly. The world experienced the end of heroes and villains alike when the Union Day happened, and our greatest heroes and most terrifying villains vanished from our plane of existence. Now the world is needing of new heroes. Those heroes that are left don't want to stand, and we need villains to balance out the ways of the universe. You may not want to be Spider-Man now, but you will eventually, Mr. Pocket said. How do you know that? Logan asked smugly. I shall return in 3 weeks' time, with a key component to you being the web slinger. Then I shall ask you one time if you wish to be Spider-Man, and guaranteed you will say yes, Mr. Pocket said with a sly grin. Then the door opened. Logan looked at Mr. Pocket once more as he climbed out and he walked into his house. 3 weeks had passed almost to the minute, and Logan was in his university, the library, studying for his English literature exam. He tried his best to forget the strange encounter with Mr. Pocket, and then he saw the time, and panicked. He should have been home hours before. He checked his phone and had several texts from his friends. They're all waiting for him to be home to jump on his computer, to join his friends on the online multiplayer game known as Swords, Souls, and Sacrifice. Logan shoved his books and his laptop in his bag, then went out of the library. He rushed outside, the cold air brushing his skin. Damn, it's quiet at night here, Logan whispered. Suddenly a scream came from his left and echoed down the corridors, and suddenly his head started ringing. He rushed over to investigate, and he saw 2 guys trying to pull a young girl into their blacked out van. Yo, hey, stop! Logan yelled as he ran over. He ran up to one of the men and grabbed them and pulled them away from the girl. The man stumbled back, then faced Logan. He had a crowbar in one hand. He then swung the crowbar at Logan. He ducked, and his head started ringing again. The crowbar flew overhead. Logan stood upright. His face was full of disbelief. He had no idea how he managed to dodge the attack. The man grunted, then swung the crowbar again this time. Logan caught it in his hand. His mind was blank, but yet his body reacted to the attack. Logan looked at his hand gripping the crowbar. Logan stood there shocked at how easy it was to hold the man back. How did you do that? The man grunted. Beats me, Logan replied. The man pulled the crowbar, but ended up letting go and falling backwards. Logan had let go of the crowbar as well, but his hand was stuck to it. What the hell? Logan gasped, as his fingers were straight, but yet the crowbar was glued to his palm. With his free hand, he managed to pull the crowbar off his palm, then he examined his palm and all. The man climbed to his feet and charged at Logan. That's mine, the man grunted. Logan dropped the crowbar and looked at the man. He then jumped up and over the man with ease. He charged into the wall behind them as Logan landed. Whoa, now that was cool, Logan called out. He then looked at the thug who had ran into the wall and he had knocked himself out cold. His body collapsed on the floor. Logan shrugged and turned to the other one, who had the girl in his grasp and a knife in his other hand. Stand back, you freak, or she gets it, the guy barked. Logan started to panic, and then he held his hands up in surrender. Whoa, easy there, fella. I don't want any trouble here, okay? Just let the nice lady go, and we can forget this ever happened, and I forgot I saw your face, Logan said in his shaky voice. Nah, I ain't trusting some circus jumpy sticky freak, the man said. Then he ran his knife into the woman's stomach. Blood spewed out of her. Her pink top quickly became drenched and became a dark red colour. The man pulled his knife out and he ran off. Logan was frozen to the spot. He didn't know what to do. Go after the thug or check on the girl. He stood there for what felt like forever. Then he ran and dropped down to his knees and scooped up the girl in his arms. She was crying and blood started dripping from her mouth. Hey, stay with me now. I can get help. Just stay with me, please, Logan cried out. His eyes filled with tears. He placed his hand over her stomach, trying to put pressure on the wound. His hand now soaked in her blood. The girl started to speak but was cut off as she started choking. Logan, now with his blood-soaked hand, pulled out his phone and dialed 911. 911, what is your emergency? Said the operator on the other end of the line. Hello, yes, New York University. Someone's been stabbed, Logan yelled down the phone. A few hours had passed, and Logan had told the police officers what happened. More or less. He decided not to tell the police officers how the crowbar got stuck to his hand for several seconds after catching it in mid-swing, and how he jumped over a guy twice his size. He made up a story about the unconscious guy, and he said that when he turned up, the man was already there. The man was also taken to the hospital under police watch. The girl was announced dead on arrival. Logan got home some point after midnight. He had left his bag at the university. He hoped someone would read the name tag and drop it into Lost and Found, and he would be able to retrieve it the next day. Logan didn't know whether to call his mother or not. As he walked up to the house, he saw the limousine parked outside, and Mr. Pocket was sat on the steps leading up to the porch. "Hello, Logan," Mr. Pocket said. "You're here," Logan muttered. "Like I said I would be. Now, I have a question." "Do you want to be Spider-Man?" Mr. Pocket asked. Logan looked at Mr. Pocket in the face, directly in his eyes. He knew that the police would never waste their time looking for the petty thug. The girl wasn't the daughter or the wife of any high-ranked celebrity, so why would anyone care? And now there were no heroes to look after the little hard-working people. Logan took a deep breath. "Yes, I do," Logan said. "That night was a month ago. The next few weeks, Logan had been training with the help of Mr. Pocket, learning how to wall crawl, use his strength, and hone his sixth sense that warns him of incoming danger. Apparently Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man, called it his spider sense. Logan was given state-of-the-art web shooters made by Peter Parker himself that Mr. Parker had been keeping safe, and Logan was introduced to a tailor that made him a Spider-Man suit. His was all red, and the inside of his legs and arms were blue, similar to the original Spider-Man, but with no web pattern. The suit was just darker in tone. He wore a black belt which held extra web cartridges. He wore a black bulletproof vest with a black hood and a purple spider logo spray painted on the chest. Logan got the idea from the spider that bit him. Spider-Man swung through the city when suddenly a scream erupted from the alleyways. No one on the street reacted. It was like it was normal for that sound to occur on a cold night. Spider-Man swung into the alleyway and stuck to a wall. He looked down and found a couple with their small boy being held at gunpoint by some scrawny man holding a small pistol. "Please, just let us go. You can take my wallet. You can even have my watch," the man said calmly, slowly inching forward with his watch and his wallet in his hand. "I want the woman's pearls as well," the man barked, pointing at the woman's neck. Spider-Man noticed the woman was wearing a necklace that was made of small white pearls. Spider-Man then jumped off the wall and shot some web at the thug, sticking his hand and his gun in a ball of web. The man screamed out in panic as Spider-Man landed between the small family and the criminal. Mummy, look, it's Spider-Man!" the kid called out in cheer. Spider-Man then shot a web at the thug, hitting the man in the chest, and then he pulled the man forward as he jumped up and kicked the guy in the face, knocking him to the floor. Then Spider-Man shot multiple web shots in rapid succession, webbing the guy to the floor. He then turned to the family, both the parents looking scared, uneasy, but the boy had a huge smile on his face. He ran up to Spider-Man. "Are you Spider-Man? Are you actually back?" the boy asked, looking up at him. Spider-Man crouched down to the boy's level. "I'm not the Spider-Man that everyone knows and loves, but I'm going to do my best to fill his shoes," Spider-Man told him. "I think you're a good Spider-Man, Mr. Spider-Man," the boy chirped. Spider-Man chuckled, then held out his fist. The boy looked at Spider-Man with shock, then fist bumped him. The boy then ran back to his mother, and Spider-Man walked up to the couple. "Thank you, Spider-Man," the woman said. "Please, take this," the man said, offering him some money. "No, I can't take that. Just be a little more careful in alleyways at night time, okay?" Spider-Man said with a raised finger. "Okay, we will," the man replied. Spider-Man saluted, then shot a web up and pulled himself into the air, and swung off. The boy ran out of the alleyway to watch Spider-Man swing down the street. Spider-Man swung home and landed on the roof. He then climbed through the window and landed in his bedroom. He climbed out of his Spider-Man outfit and clicked on the TV. He saw his mother on the screen talking about the mayor's daughter being kidnapped, and a collection of hero and villain artifacts that were supposed to be transported that night had been stolen. Logan pulled out his phone and called Mr. Pocket. The phone rang, and Logan was brought to Mr. Pocket's answer machine. "Hey Pocket, a highly armoured truck containing valuable items from previous heroes and villains who fell on Union Night has been stolen. Guessing you're behind this. Guessing a new Spider-Man isn't the only thing you're after. Call me back when you can," Logan said, then he hung up the phone. Logan then watched TV for a bit before falling asleep. He woke up early the next morning and went to class like usual. Lucky for him, he lived 10 minutes down the road from the university. He packed his bags, his books and equipment in his bag, and they were placed on top of his Spider-Man suit. His web shooters hid in his pocket ready. Logan then left his house, unlocked the door, and headed for class. And there you have it, folks, my first chapter of Spider-Man. I really hope you enjoyed this story. The new Extraordinary Spider-Man, again, is part of my ongoing universe that I'm slowly building, called the TMDFU, that stands for the Tiger Tales Marvel and DC fanfiction universe, where I will be drawing in all superhero storylines. Now, I have made a playlist specifically for this universe, and it'll be in order of all the storylines that come into it. So Mutants of Fire chapter 1 and 2 come first, then following this, so forth, so on. So if you want to listen to the universe in order, you can. Just want to quickly shout out Cosplay Dude 637, my Parabatai. He is an amazing story writer, and he has 2 podcasts on Spotify: Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637, which he is currently working on a Sword Art Online Shadow Hunters and an original storyline. And then on his second podcast we have Universe 19, Power Rangers Universe 19, which is hosting his stories of Power Rangers, Ultra Rangers, Power Rangers Cyberforce, and he's introduced a Kamen Rider storyline as well, so maybe you go check him out if you like my stuff here. Don't forget to check out Mark as well, another brother from another mother, and he is Nerds Through Comics on Spotify. He's doing adapting comics into audio dramas, and he's going to be introducing some of his own original storylines soon. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're new here. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss another story, and I shall see you guys very soon.